Hello, good morning, welcome. I am Wormso2146. It is Friday, the 25th of November 2022, and here we are with another chill morning stream. 3 hours playing Cities Skylines, continuing the city that I started Tuesday, I think it was, Tuesday morning. So, welcome. I'm going to hop back into the city. No, I can unpause safely, I think. I wasn't in the middle of anything important. We've got a very small city down here that is happy. People are working, services are provided, no one is complaining. A lot of power from wind turbines, all in a funny looking cluster, but there we go. And towards the end of the last stream, I started working on this new layout to expand a larger city base. So put in the highway that cuts across between the two pre-existing highways. Worked out some off-ramps and city blocks in nice, neat, tidy squares. So we can start expanding beyond this. So my concern at this point is previous experience. When the city starts growing, things start falling apart. It takes time for things like education to work in. But there is demand at the moment for residential zones, so I'm going to start laying some in and putting the basic services in place. I think I might focus the services in these first squares, maybe with some commercial zoning. I'll put my first residential here. Need to build some temporary power lines and start the water grid as well. No, I'm not. Interesting. Snapping to the centre of those roads. If there's any way I can force it to the centre. Maybe I'll lay out differently and put them through the middle of the grids. Could work. That's snapping. Does mean anything. Can't build around the edge of the squares. Unless I extend them. That's not ideal. If I do that, it snaps to the centre. There we go. If I build at the right angle. It's my preference. Just look that up temporarily. I will need to expand water supply shortly. Snapping nicely to the middle of the roads now that I've started it, which is good. Good. Okay, so I'm going to need healthcare, fire, police, education all in place here. Start with a clinic, fire station, police station, elementary school. They're the basics, and then a high school put one down. Might as well. So what they don't have is garbage. But I don't want to place that anywhere near here. I want those to be out in the industrial sector we're going to build out to the west. But they are covered by the ones that are down here. The roads are still green, so they'll have the coverage. So that ought to be enough to start with. And one of them's already levelling up. Interesting. That's good. So there's still greater demand for residential. I'll put another few blocks in. I do want to develop a little bit of commercial out here. And keep an eye on the traffic to see if it behaves how I want it to with the funny road system we built. Someone here, who's this? That's a police car, okay. Patrolling out towards where no one lives. No one's coming off. Okay. Fine. We still need to think about how to set out the industrial zone that's going to be out. See where the grass is a different colour. That's because it's got oil there. Similar kind of system for coming off the highway. That in a moment. Do need to create a new district out of this area. Two districts, I guess. North and south of the highway. I had policies enabled down here. A pet ban on the residential. Okay. Interesting. The menu that I'm expecting isn't popping up. No big deal. Don't need to ban the pets, just looked like a positive thing to do. Something seems to have broken in the UI for the policies. Never mind. Okay, so demand at the moment is a little bit of commercial would be good. This zone we've just placed down can still level up a bit. No particular rush, we'll just let the development take its course there for now. Okay, come and look at this section. So I suppose the easy thing to do would be to just turn the ends of the highway into a grid system. If your Y traffic is coming down one side of the highway just to turn around at the end and go back, when they could turn around here These guys make sense. They're coming down and they want to go across. I don't really want them to come off into the grid system and then rejoin, which is why maintaining the highway is preferred. We can... They could stay on the highway and take that exit, which ought to be preferred considering that tight bend slows them right down. Interesting. Maybe if I develop that into slower roads, it will force them to take the more sensible option. Ah, got a lot more traffic over here now. Commercial buildings are levelling up. Everything seems to be flowing off of the highway well. Can't see anyone rejoining at the moment, but that's okay. Ah, a few over here. That's cool. So they want to be heading westbound on the highway. They go up and over the bridge there and... Ah, I'm glad I spotted that. There should be no traffic lights on any of these junctions. Thought I'd switched it off before saving last time. Just the mod being funny, maybe. The donut van has delivered to the commercial zone, and very cool. Joining without an issue. I'm getting driven straight through by an ore truck. That's good. It appears to be working as intended. Hopefully as the traffic increases it continues to flow easily. Okay. Thoughts are to demolish that where they join up. Build a similar kind of 6-lane with parking spaces that we have for the residential area into a grid over here for the industrial area. Kind of want the two grids to line up even at that distance, so... I have to build a bridge, even though I don't want one, just to make sure everything lines up. That's in roughly the right area. It's going to be the same kind of size, I suppose. What do I want to do? I don't really want to have the empty space in the middle of the grids for the industrial area because it's wasted space. Residential houses might be happier having a bit of green space around, but I don't think it should make any difference to industrial, so if I want a tighter grid, then the 6-lane might be the wrong approach. You end up with a ton of lanes and a very small 6x6 space to put the buildings in, which a disaster. I just don't think that a 6x6 square is going to require as much traffic. So having 6 lanes is probably unnecessary. Do 6 lane around the outside for inbound traffic, and then your 4 lane no parking creates a smaller internal grid. Doesn't need to be one way. That creates an 8x8 on the internal, 7x8 on the outside, I guess. I think it's better. Not having the parking spaces can be an issue getting the delivery vehicles in, but 4 lane with parking might as well be 6 lane with parking because of the space it takes up. Yeah. Interesting. Bigger blocks or the smaller blocks? I think I'm going to do smaller roads. If we have a traffic issue later, then I'll just have to tear it all down and start again. So the 6 lane for the outside. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just want to line it up with this where I think the oil is. Six blocks. Good, there's a bit down the end here I could maybe fit in also. I'm sure this will do. It's much bigger than what we've got at the moment, so we'll fit a lot of industrial in. Having the grid in ready. There's no real demand for any industry at the moment, but just keep expanding the residential until they want this to begin. Hopefully in that meantime the population will grow and unlock the oil. Missing here. Those dots are in the wrong place. Still got a nice solid income, so mess around with this as much as I like. Check in on things like power and water in a second though. I'm not sure if it's necessary to have the wider road on the far side from the highway. So I don't think the AI will decide to go around the edge. It's all just going to cut through the middle. We'll find out. Sure, it looks nicer with everything. Vague kind of symmetry to it. Don't have a block in the right place here. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, is that 7? So it should be there. 8 by 7. Yeah, that's the right spot. 8. Gonna go blurry-eyed staring at the grid. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and yeah, 7 at the end because of the wider road at the bottom. That fills the whole grid in. Quick check of, so power is in surplus. Water is close, but it's positive currently. Garbage still has capacity. Healthcare, everyone looks happy. Fire safety, everyone looks happy enough. Crime looks no issue. That's interesting. The coverage from the elementary school in the new block is not great. Gonna need some around the outside as well, I think. So everyone needs to be covered. The high school coverage is fine. No one's educated in this new area yet. It does take quite a while, so not so much of an issue. And then, so cemetery. Obviously lots of space still, but there's no coverage here. Fit that. Up that in too. I suppose parks as well. Might be something to look at later. It'd be nice to be able to fit parks in the middle of each square. I have to run like a little dirt track up that they can attach to. Something I'll bear in mind. Okay, so over in our future industrial zone, I need to disable all of the traffic lights around the edge. Luckily they're pre-disabled in the middle, I don't have to click every one of them as well. Then I just need to connect the highway. Which I feel to just be a kind of brute force thing like that. Sure how well that's going to work, but we can redesign something here, maybe a roundabout or something on the edge of the industrial area if we need to. There is high demand for residential. These haven't leveled up yet, so some of it will be fulfilled by that, but probably not enough. I'm going to add the next grid on down here. Now our line needs sorting out. We can connect over the edge here now. Giant rock is blocking some of the zone. Can I just demolish it? Yeah, good. Water pipes, which I usually forget. Little demand for commercial as well, so I'm going to do that block while we're doing it. Wonder how the road coverage from everything is positive. Just hope that the capacity for everything's going to be okay. That's probably going to take us over the available water capacity we have, so It's time for another pumping station. And another outlet, which is making a beautiful colour down here already. Power still looks okay at the current wind rate. Let's take a look at parks then. A park that is 7 by 7? No, 8 by 8. That one's 9 by 8. That one's way too big. All too big or too small from the looks of it. Okay. Ours is the same, all too small. Maybe it's a case of running the dirt track all the way in. What fits nicely now? Too big? Too small? Ooh, that's close. It's a shame. So none of them are going to be perfect. That one looks like it might fit the other way round. Ah, no, one off. Because the road is too little squares wide. Okay, so nothing fits perfectly. What about two little ones next to each other? One was 3 wide. That's would need the road to go another step over. No, it really looks like they will not fit great however I do it. But without sacrificing more of the residential zoning. I just put... What bothers me most is that it won't be central unless it's an even number of little squares. Which I'm willing to bet none of them are. That one is. A Japanese garden. Very high entertainment. So that could be an option. Just check the plazas. That is my favourite option. Coverage is not very far on that one. I would need them probably in the middle of every one in these rows. Okay, well let's do that. Hoping that a tiny little gravel road is going to be sufficient. We're not going to have weird traffic problems. Okay, that's good. There's some park coverage here now. Better than nothing. In the commercial zone I don't need parks, but I could put a road that cuts in to fit more commercial buildings. Probably want a slightly bigger road for that. 2-lane road with parking spaces. Still leaves a little bit that isn't covered, but in which case putting the road centrally would offer more in total, like so. It's kind of cool. It's got this kind of like central road for additional parking, and we'll get some additional businesses in. If I put the road all the way through, it could cause traffic issues with if the AI doesn't prioritise the 6 lane that's right next to it. It would sacrifice 4 little squares to gain those 6 little squares. No, 8 little squares to get the 6 little squares, so that's not worth it. But putting it forward just 2 more blocks would sacrifice 2 little squares to gain 6 little squares. And that maximises what fits in a little block, so I'm up for that. Don't want to do the same thing on the residential ones, I don't think. I like having the little grassy area in the middle of them all. Short on garbage space, kind of. We're now at 5,400 population against the 8,000 that we need. Check if I put garbage on the edge. Roads are still green. Otherwise I might need a dedicated garbage area nearby, which we can do. Should be safe to put it all the way on the edge here. Ideally we'll unlock the incineration plant before we need to build any more landfill. Do have elder care and childcare facilities that we've not really put into place. The one that we've got pre-existing has boosted the lifespan. I think it was around 60 to start with, and it's now at 80. So that's... don't think we need another one. In both cases, the health level all around is around 80%. And fit a little childcare facility here. It covers a lot of space. Build one and see if it makes people happy. Or happier. Why not? Almost unlocked the fire station. That will be helpful when we expand industry. I'm imagining that oil industry has particular fire risk. A bigger police comes with that as well. Don't have any public libraries. Coverage distance is quite small. I don't think it's really worth the money, because we'd need a lot of them. Buses I will want in place when this industrial zone's up and running. Reduce the traffic going between the residential and the industrial. At the moment we could put some in to move from these lower houses up to the commercial zones. Doubt it's worth it. Till we expand a bit more. Those few parks that I put in have raised the entertainment value very high on the squares they're in, but not on the periphery. Okay. We are now a busy town. 5,500 people. City planning policies. Some unique buildings. Oil industries unlocked. Policies for free busings and a banning HGVs from certain areas. A whole bunch of new roads. That's nice with trees. Pretty. Extra bus only roads. Hospital, fire station. Another garden. See how big that one is. Police headquarters and oil power plant. So might want to be swapping out the smaller services for the bigger ones I've just unlocked. Like a hospital. Assume it's just got wider coverage and more space and everything. Although for the 6 times the cost, might prefer to keep using the little ones while they work. It's nice that the police headquarters is still quite small. Fire station too, so still be able to squeeze them into little places. Tropical garden. Is a good option. Much smaller area though. Much more expensive. Much lower entertainment. That doesn't seem like a good option. This one mentions tourists and that one doesn't, so maybe it's especially for tourism. Okay. See a traffic issue in the old part of town. Guess that is people who live in the new part moving to the old part to work. Might want to, even though the demand for industry is not that high, might want to just start moving it to the new place. See any traffic issues here? I might just want to increase the speed limit on this bridge. It's slower than the roads around it. I could be zipping over it. Better. Demand is still high for residential, which I can fill into Evergreen Heights. Menu started working. So I want pet ban in both of those areas. So just noticed I need to expand this one. More education needed, yes. How I feel at the moment is just need to give it time for this newly developed area to get educated and level up a bit. Not any disasters going on, so we can afford to just take our time with it. Some of the roads down. So these new options, trading off the parking spot for a bit of grass, which lowers noise pollution, which will make people happier. Where do they park? Guess I could make horizontal roads have parking spaces and vertical roads have trees. That could be good. I like that idea actually. So I can do 6-lane road with trees down the outside, 6-lane road with trees down the middle, 6-lane road with trees down the middle and bus lanes. That's kind of a good idea. I like that idea. I'll upgrade the vertical running roads to have trees and bus lanes. I need to park on the horizontal running roads. Or they park on the little gravel road. That's cool. Then that's okay. Just any bus stops that I'm putting will have to go on vertical running roads. I want this bridge changed to have 4-lane road with bus lanes. Means there's only 1 lane for cars. Shouldn't be much of an issue because it runs faster than the roads around it. So as long as I keep it running faster than the roads around it, 1 lane should... 3 lanes feed into it. The other option, I suppose, is to make the bridge wider and use that same one. Don't really need trees on the bridge though. Is there not an option for... Well, I mean, it's one direction, so I can use highway road. 2 lanes and a bus lane. Ah. So that road actually wouldn't be best because that's 2 directions, which I don't want, and the 1 direction roads don't have any bus lanes. And the only 1 direction road with bus lanes is the highway. So how about keeping that road as it is and just building an expressway next to it? no one way. The only one-way bus lanes are on the highway. Or the ramp, expressway ramp is a single. See what that looks like if I build one down here. Same with the traffic lights. Well, for starters, it makes a funny junction here. Guess no one's coming out of it, so it's only if someone's going across and someone from the other side is turning into the bus lane. I don't mind how the bridges themselves look, that's fine, it's just this junction that I don't like. So the only other option to have bus lanes that go up and over this bridge is to change it to a highway. Which might be fine. It's no real different. It's got 2 lanes, which is enough, and a bus only lane. Junction just looks a little funny because of the gantry-way, but I think that's fine. Do the same over this side then. And upgrade the vertical running roads on this side. Which just leaves a small bit of road from the vertical running into the bridge. So bus that is going from down here. Well, for whatever reason, if the bus wants to cross over the highway, kind of need this one horizontal road to be a bus lane. Messes with the plan a bit. Then there's significantly reduced parking. Or just that top row housing. Necessary to have a dedicated bus lane grid. The top and bottom of the city section is going to need that. Maybe through the middle as well. Okay. That being the case, I'm thinking of something more complicated. Every other vertical and every other horizontal will switch between, so if that one's bus lane then that one isn't, this one is. Therefore, parking spaces on, let's go with the middle ones, the outside. then there's no point in having this section have bus lane, even when the bus gets to the end of it. It doesn't have one to go into, so that might as well have parking. That, but not the short section that goes over there. Okay. It's like a dedicated bus grid in the centre of the blocks. Just need to mirror that on the other side, so those are not going to have it. That is. Then we need another grid row so that it looks the same. I think that's now the same, yeah. So, within the residential districts, everything's a bit prettier and there are dedicated bus lanes. It's just now about whether I want dedicated bus lanes running from the industrial to the residential and back. No. There's no option of adding a dedicated bus lane to a one-way 6-lane road. No. Can give it trees, I guess. Doesn't need parking spots on there, so might as well give it trees. Why not? Then I can use the mod, I guess. That's triple lights are switched off. Priorities are how they're supposed to be. Can use the mod to restrict the far right lane to be emergency vehicle and bus only. Just taxi as well, might as well. Bus, taxi and emergency vehicle. Just doesn't change the appearance of it, which is kind of annoying. It'd be nice if it had the red tarmac. I can change the highway to have a dedicated bus lane. I don't think I want to. The rate that they go, it shouldn't be an issue to just mix all the traffic on there. And therefore the on-ramp doesn't need to have a dedicated lane, we can leave that how it is. So we just need to do the same on this side. Have the trees on. And restrict on the inside lane. Yeah, that's right. I don't need to do the other side because there is no dedicated lane on the other way. I am happy with that. Services all look fine. For 6,000 people. And we have demand for more, so adding more might be the next step. These guys have leveled up a bit. Not bad, but I think, yeah, now's time to zone out the mirror section. Let's put those gravel roads in. Do that before I forget it. So it's in these 2 rows. Maybe 1 short. Or that one. Yeah, that's right. That's the mirror of what I've done down there. And 2-lane road with parking for the commercial ones. Not bad. Zone them in. As well, and then the services that we need. I think I want to put a full-size hospital in. Just seems unnecessary. Clinic will do the job. Glad that's flashing at me because once again forgotten to put the water grid in place. And yes, this side is going to need power connection, which we don't have a good place to do from.
Greetings!
Hello, Sneaky Bean. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Best thing to do might be to get whatever this was built on this side. Don't really like that. Let's try it here. Get these services put in here that finish that out. So that's a cemetery. Is it worth a bigger fire station? Doesn't seem so necessary in the residential area. The bigger fire station I'm probably going to need for the industrial area, but for now, at least, I'm just going to put a smaller one in. How did I do that here? Like that. And likewise with the police station next to it. Then the elementary school that way. That's what those were on the edges, yeah. Which we're going to need. The same full coverage everywhere. Sneaky Bean. Digging the chill. Good. Glad to hear it. I think City Skylines I've found to be great for a morning time chilling out. Because I can sit staring at grids and go crazy mumbling to myself all morning. This on the... Oh, that's the Child Health Centre. I don't think I need another one. For whatever reason, it doesn't fit on this side. What have I done different? They're all at a different angle. No. That didn't change anything. Now I'm definitely going to go crazy. Elementary school is there at that angle. Police station and a firehouse. And then a medical clinic on the corner. It's all the same. Worked it out. Rambling. I'm glad sneaking's. I'm the same actually. I like Spotify. I can do like if I'm cooking dinner or something where I'm like quite active, but work, especially when I was working from home for a while. Someone's voice makes a big difference. That's fixed that layout there. So I could put the child healthcare there if I wanted to. Provide coverage. I mean, we have boosted our average health up to by 10%. So if I put it in, maybe I'll get 100%. It's not expensive, is it? It's 500 a week. Making 4,500 a week. We can afford it. Whether it's worth it or not, I don't know. But hopefully soon I'll be expanding the industrial and that will cause a significant increase in income. So one area's over here complaining about power because they haven't filled the gap in. I think I will need to, even if it's just temporary, connect it to prevent the complaints. Okay. Big flashing complaint there is just the lack of educated workers. Fine. There's no demand for more residential, so that's just a case of waiting for the education to work. Small complaint about the garbage piling up. 2 full sites now. Just because we don't have a landfill dedicated to the new area. I think we are going to need one. I was wondering if having them over here is going to be too far. In my mind, I have an idea replacing the way this connects using a roundabout and having another offshoot from the roundabout for garbage just here maybe. So let's work on that idea. Do I do a roundabout neatly? There's one there, that looks a little small. That's a bit bigger, okay. Large roundabout. I put that go with on Stephen Cooper Street. Then can I plug both sections of highway onto the same large road? can if they go at a funny angle. Freight road, it's going to need to be around 45 degrees. Acceptable. I'd like to forbid them from doing a U-turn there. Can I use the mod to do that? Lane connector, that's what I'm thinking of. Forced to go in that direction. Oh, someone's here to try it out already. Have to go round the roundabout. It's not particularly fast, but I mean it worked. Check the speed limits are. It's 100 while going around the roundabout. It's 100 on the highway, so it's only this. If I set that to 100, they should go the same speed the whole way round. Now, could set this section of the roundabout so they're forced to rejoin the highway. That will only be a problem for anyone coming out of the industrial zone that then wants to go back into the industrial zone. But they can just turn around at the intersection here, which is backing up for some reason. I think I'm going to do that as well. Use the lane connector on this one. That way no one will have to wait. Is it then better to just literally split the roundabout? Probably. That'd be pretty ugly though. I'm going to do it like this. We'll see if it works. So what I then want to do is one of these other offshoots. Let's go with the one below. So that's the shortest route out here on Ashland Boulevard. To put the landfill. See how that goes. People complaining about power, that's because the wind has dropped and we're not making enough. Still not got any good spot for the advanced wind, so we'll put basic wind. Still room to just keep adding to this block down here, I guess. 7 megawatts average for each turbine. Should cover it nicely for now. Water is still fine. Come to mind, I need to expand this district. I might as well district up the industrial zone. let's include the whole roundabout and landfill zone in that. Did put a policy on the other industrial zone. What was that? Smoke detectors. Yeah. Might not be necessary with the bigger fire station I've unlocked, but it kind of seemed worth a tiny bit of money to reduce the fire risk. The garbage truck as it leaves the landfill. I think there's any way I can tell this landfill where to collect from. So I only want him collecting from the new residential areas. Sure. Here it goes. Okay, reasonable speed around here, but some of those corners are a bit much, slowing them down. He is coming to one of the new areas. Bridge. They do it at a good speed now, that's nice to see. Collecting from the commercial zone. Just noticed how the traffic uses the dedicated bus lane for the right hand turns here. Kind of makes me question what the point of a dedicated bus lane is, if everyone can use it. He is full and heading back. Doing a few loops, okay, still do like the way traffic flows on a grid. He goes shooting onto the highway. The Williams Bridge. That's cool, I like that. Still a lot of residential to develop here. The highest demand at the moment is a medium demand for commercial. It's probably something that will get filled as these level up. The maximum they can be from education. So we might need another commercial zoning. I think the next kind of location to do that will be a central square in the grid. So we can plan ahead. Know that would be where it goes. I'll put it in now, then I'll remember when I come to extend the grid. I think, just out of interest to see how things go, I'm going to put 1 or 2 industrial squares on. So these guys are going to need connecting to the water grid as well. Neat. Everything's lining up how it should be. Ah, that doesn't line up how it should because it's not a full grid square where the highway is. Never mind. That one connection I'll have to do. Now we're as well. Power lines down the middle of the highway. I like that as an idea. No, it doesn't snap very well. There isn't a full square to put it on. Okay. So we'll put it down the edge of the highway or just in a straight line from down here. I think that's going to get demolished eventually. We'll run it next to the highway out from this one. Ah. Raise the pylon up to get over this bridge. I can, okay. Easy way of lining that up, never mind. It does look alright to me. That should connect them. Yep, good. Little offshoot just into the landfill, even though it doesn't need one. That's quite neat. I'm quite happy with that. Would be an idea to, I know we're all green energy at the moment, but an oil power plant would make things very stable. Put it down where the landfill is. Not about a problem now, we've got plenty of cash flow, so I'll stay green for now. Businesses have cropped up already. We're still not branching out. We've got boxes, fish sticks and clothes like in the other place. At this point, specialise over to oil. So what does oil do? Increases ground pollution. Shouldn't be an issue because we're far away from anything else. Increases electricity consumption, which we can manage. Increases income, which is what we want. So there, if I specialise Belmont Heights into oil, I guess our fish stick factories will change over to something else. It's a generic oil company. We're making oil and oil-based things, and that's going to need more electrical consumption. I am going to go ahead and build the oil-fired power plant next to it. It needs to be in the water grid, which it's not at the moment. There we go. Also going to need a few services in the industrial area. Some things don't reach. Don't know if they need healthcare. It's sensible for a business to be covered by ambulances. Might wait and see if they ask for it. Definitely going to need fire stations. Put some on the edges and good coverage, so I'm hoping I won't need to build them inside the grid. On the end of the middle block. Crime rate's low, but I assume we need some police coverage out here. Can't afford it at the moment. Blown through all our money developing out here. Speed time up, we're still making a profit, so it's just a matter of time to get the money. There we go, okay. Not enough workers. Demand for residential. These are still levelling up, so close to the point of needing to expand the grid. I can't expand Brook Heights without demolishing the old town. I think general plan will be to expand the oil industries and let things gradually stabilise and slowly demolish the old town as the new ones look ready for it. They're definitely not ready to move the residential because they're asking for more of it. Could be a bit awkward. I'm always concerned in this game, previous experience of relatively stable cities completely collapsing because I demolished the wrong thing at the wrong time. They're asking for workers over here, I think. I'm going to de-zone a couple of squares from down there. Zone in a couple more up here. It's roughly the same size, so if they're happy before, they should be happy now. Aha! We've leveled up again. A big town of 8,000 people. We can purchase another block area, which is good. Finish the square off that I was trying to buy. Can change taxation. Might not fiddle with that, considering everything's fine as it is. Build a metro system, which is interesting. I was planning on buses, but maybe a metro would be better. Or bunch of new policies for tax, toll roads. Not sure how that affects things like happiness, or I could just throw a toll booth up on the highway, but not sure people will accept it. Industry policy requires high education to increase output. Interesting. New zoning, high density. That's nice. I'll start swapping some of our new town over to high density residential then. Very nice. And the buildings, new toll booths, all the metro stuff. Fishing thing for tourists, okay. University for higher education, and the incineration plant, good. Definitely want one of them. So that's a bunch of stuff to work on, good. We're definitely going to need to save up some money for that though. And I'm going to need a quick break before I continue, so I'm going to leave the city running. And I'm just going to go, top my drink up, quick break, about halfway through how much I intend to stream this morning, so another hour and a half to go. I'll just be back in a minute or two. I am back from just a short break. City appears to still be standing, which is good. Survived me moving that section of industry to the new area. Demands have just balanced a bit differently. There's some demand for everything at this point. Okay, so one of the things that I want to do is upgrade some of the new town to high density residential. Okay, I need to D-zone, rezone it, okay. Do the same on the other side. Don't want to do too much at once. How that would affect our population levels. We can build bigger apartment blocks. That's cool. And also do the same to the commercial zones. We just want to do one zone at a time. Let's start with this one. Industries. Relatively stable. Once they're all running, everyone's got big smiley faces on every little menu, so I'm going to take out another 2 blocks from down here. Put another 4 squares up here. One thing I didn't do, I don't think, is actually place the parks on this side of town. It's better. Good. These buildings have shot straight up. Need to give them some time to work out how they're going to upgrade and level up and stuff like that. They seem to be replacing the demolished ones quick and easy, and without causing my income to massively drop. Supply is good. Water supply is fine. Garbage. I want to put incineration plant into place. Maybe a few of them. Ideally I'll take everything in the landfills and burn it. So to extend this road out, so that's a 6-lane with parking. Two incineration plants on. Oh, need to extend the water supply. There we go. I think if I switch this landfill site to empty, see if we can gradually burn it all, hopefully. I just need more incineration plants if it doesn't flow how I want it to. But each plant has 27 trucks against the 15 that a landfill has. So we should be able to process at a good rate, as far as I can tell. looking okay. I mean, just a little foggy, but I don't see anyone complaining about anything. Income has reduced, but still quite positive. Population is increasing. So how's our high density residential area? We're waiting on education in order to level up. Commercial is still leveling itself up gradually. There's no immediate demand for more of either, so I'm not going to increase the density anywhere else. As the education rolls out, I suppose each level of high density is going to be even greater than each level of low density, so I kind of want to give it even more time to balance out. My demand for industry, so I'm going to put another few zones moved now. Also unlocked office zones, which I've not used before. So create workplaces that are just for educated people. And just for highly educated people, we need a university first. Okay. We'll do that in the future at some point. I can't imagine that'll be anytime soon. We'll probably want a whole new section off the highway to put offices into. That does remind me, I can purchase this square. So we now own all of that section, up to the top highway as well. At some point I would like to square all that off, because the gap between the highways I've built is a lot tighter than the default gap. We'll have to save up a nice big chunk of cash to rebuild the highways. Medium demand for a few things, so yeah, I think we are just in a phase of waiting for things to develop a bit. University is very expensive. Don't really see its coverage either. I don't know if I need to build it close to the homes or if you can build it further up the highway and they'll travel there. Thinking about travelling, could start thinking about bus routes. It'd be nice to put the depot over here in this spare section off the roundabout. And then I want to run buses from the residential areas to their commercial zones, and probably from the top sections out to the industry. Let's place one depot down and start looking at bus routes. We need bus stop buildings on the edges of the roads, and then bus depot will supply the buses for it. Okay. Let's work from this side. We want a bus line that stops at each of these commercial zones. Then comes over the industrial zone, Just like that. And then the same thing on the other side. But... yeah, no, that's right. Why? Ah. Drives on the right hand side of the road. So there to there. I mean, at the same bus stops, I suppose. It's two nice, neat little loops. They're on the same colour, so it's hard to tell if they've done something silly. No, that's fine. If I highlight that line, it doesn't highlight the other one, so that's fine. Then I want, so using the bus lane grid that I built earlier, let's go from the corner of these residential zones up to opposite the other bus stops. Same on this side. Definitely not a professional bus route developer, but the lines look neat and tidy, so hopefully they're effective. We just need to connect the bus station to the power grid and the water grid. So I can change the colours on this screen, that's good. So I've got blue, red, yellow, green. Ah, changes the colour of the buses as well, that's cool. So as we watch the buses go around town, we can see. Quite sure why the depot is completely flooded the whole area with buses though. And that's just an initial thing to create some spacing as they work their way round, hopefully. Don't want a big tailback of buses all over the place. It defeats the purpose of using buses. Now that's interesting. The oil businesses only have one level. Specialised industries are always of the highest level. In this case means we're short of the highly educated people they want. So we're probably going to want somewhere a small amount of normal industry that isn't specialised, so that people who are not meeting the education requirements of the specialised ones have somewhere to go. I'm not concerned about removing all of my default industry now, but we've not had an issue so far. So I think we'll continue with it. There's now a higher demand for industry, so put a few more blocks in. Remove the original ones. Hopefully be okay. So there's now no industrial zoning in the old town. Good progress. Emptying is continuing. Burning through a lot of rubbish. That's good. This bus looks like it's done the whole, almost all the line. It's just joining a backlog. No, maybe this is an indication of something. There's a lot of people at the bus stop, so maybe there's just a greater demand for buses than I have provided routes for. Just a bunch of guesswork really, I suppose. I'm just going to have to try different things and see which one of them causes the whole city to grind to a halt. It's interesting watching that bus drive around. It's not really using the bus lane. Yeah, it's just completely ignoring it. So, are these bus lane roads just cosmetic? They don't actually make a difference? Interesting. Keep an eye on that as well. With that being the case, then a metro might be the option. How does that work? We build metro stations and connect them with track and then place a route on them. You can do the whole thing underground, which is great. Cost doesn't look crazy. It's $240 a week. Depot 720, so built quite a lot of metro. Very little cost above the buses. Can I see from our economy screen? Oh yeah, income from public transport. So at the moment we're losing 500 a week on these bus routes. Might be something to do with the excess number of buses, possibly not. When the buses are full, it should be making a profit. Unless they just inherently cost money. They're not supposed to make a profit, perhaps. Or perhaps the bus depot is capable of a much greater capacity of buses than I've got. Build some more lines, then it would create more profit. There aren't going to be many more lines that I want, though. It's going to want feeder lines for each residential section that put the people at the top, transfer that take them from the top to the industry, then feeder lines that move the industry to the top. There's only maybe 2 more routes that I would want, and 1 or 2. Don't know. Demand for industry is still quite high, so we can zone another bit more of that. Air is still good, water's still good. Rubbish is still burning. Healthcare is all blue. General health is at 84%. Elder care at 76. Childcare at 92. Elder care coverage in the new town might be a positive thing. Perhaps. More than enough capacity. No one is currently sick. Fire risk. The industrial's at the worst, and it's just a dark blue, which is still very low risk. Any issues there? Crime safety all looking good as well. Jails are only half full. Elementary education. It's well established. It's only the newer places that are still red. It's a shame that I'm going to be demolishing all of these lower density ones. Yeah, to have. High school education. I have built the wrong thing here. It was confusing me a little. I wanted to put elementary schools here, because their coverage isn't going far down the roads. High school is covering most of that. The next grid expansion will need an extra high school for sure. School education's progressing fine as well. I'm missing university education, so the university does need to be built quite close to the homes. I suppose maybe public transport would help extend its reach. Houses that are not green on the road might be able to use a bus to get to the university. Perhaps, or we're going to need a lot of universities. Buses are arriving full, not emptying. Okay. I just feel like the demand for the buses is greater than what I've got. Maybe I want to simplify those lines. We got them stopping twice in the industrial zone. I could have them stop once. and then put the internal route in the industrial zone. Likewise, having just stopped once at the top of the commercial area. Let that go. How do I... Drag to move. Can I remove? Yeah, right click removes. I want to move that one to the middle of that road. And the green line is just going to stop on this side. Blue line just going to stop on the other side. Moving to the top road could do. Leave them where they are. Don't know why he's taking that route. Juggling, I'm going to move that one over. Have them like that in the middle. They're just stopping that side. I want them to just stop that side. Good. And these loops within the residential as well. I'm going to remove. Have that one so it's directly opposite. Move these out to the edges. There. Kind of on every block, so that's those H blocks covered. One on the middle block. And these H blocks as well. That's a nice loop around the residential area. It meets up opposite the transfer to the industrial. Tidy up the yellow route as well. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. That one to the centre. Opposite the transfer. Okay. Bus routes that I've got are now a bit neater. I want to add a new bus route entirely. Zip that one. Goes around all the industrial areas we've built so far. Kind of, that'll do for now. There's a lot more development to do over here anyway, so we'll have to adjust the bus routes over time anyway. Okay, just want to recolour the new route. Could be purple route. Still causing a bit of traffic issues, like that garbage truck should just go round rather than waiting on the bus, as far as I'm concerned. Highway is backing up, coming into the industrial zone. which is not ideal. Everything's flowing okay, it's just the volume of traffic, I guess. Might need a second entrance. Probably will need a second entrance further down as we expand the industrial zoning. So this is clearly not enough, especially with whatever that truck's up to. They're all trying to get onto the inside lane, both inbound and outbound. Even though they're then changing the lane later on. Okay. So I don't think this is my fault that we're getting the backlog. Just something about the AI doesn't like what I've done here. Let's try the alternative that I did have in mind. I'm just going to pause it while I look at it. Move. Let's get these power lines out of the way. And then rebuild the highway, so the inbound is going to go out there, and then it'd be nice to keep this curve in the road. Curves are a bit awkward to build. Good, actually. Let's try and curve this side as well. Yeah, okay. It's a bit smoother. They couldn't do a full loop anyway. This just makes that a bit more obvious, I suppose. Hopefully that encourages them to use more of the road, although looking at it, it still ends up in the same choke point as where they're coming off this single 6-lane road. See how this behaves. Just need to reconnect the power. Should do the job. Okay. Let that little backlog of confused vehicles get themselves sorted out. It's still all moving into that lane. This junction seems to be flowing reasonably well. Could put some priority in. Make sure that things coming off of the highway have got priority. I would force things coming off to not cross the traffic. Make them take a back road by force. Or to do a loop around. I mean, that's cleared out what was there. I don't know if that's just rush hour or something, so to keep an eye on it. It happens again soon. Seems okay. No, everything's quite balanced at this point. Medium demand for everything. Services are all okay. Maybe time to upgrade another block over to high density. So we'll do this one. And its mirror. Mirror of the commercial district as well. A little bit more industry. A little bit of everything. Ah, the first landfill I wanted to empty is done. Means we can now demolish it safely. While emptying the next one. The demand for residential has dropped a lot, so just those 2 blocks was plenty to be upgrading. Commercial has bounced back very quick, that's good to see. No one in the industrial zone is complaining about anything, so that could be okay. Ah. But we do have a tailback again. So up here, everyone in the middle lane is trying to force their way to the inside lane, only to move back to the middle lane to come off and turn right here. Is there anything I can do with the lane connectors to fix this? That one's going to the right or ahead. So no one should really need, just the workers at the bus depot should need to go that way. This one can go into either lane. That one could go into either lane. Them into the right lane, correct lane earlier by forcing 1-to-1 on those. At this junction, the outside can go to any of those 3. Or something like that. And at this, I am going to prevent them from turning left as they come into the section. And then I'll also want to prevent that. So people approaching from the north, turning to the east, block traffic from the east heading west. Doesn't seem too much of an issue. I think that's the bigger issue, is one's approaching from the south heading anything other than out of town. Then they do need an option to head somewhere. So we just force them to that lane. It'll allow people coming from the east to take the northern lane on Stephen Cooper Street. A bit confusing. glad it's colour coded and that I'm not colour blind, because keeping track of this is difficult. I think all of those lines make sense to me. Can't make this one junction efficient enough. We just need to split the incoming traffic into 2 junctions. An additional, maybe an off-ramp from Laurel Highway into Applegate Street. Maybe another one here at Evans Street back onto the highway, as well as the central one. To try and split the traffic around different entry and exit points. In the residential area it seems to be working fine. I don't know if we can perhaps mirror that somehow by rearranging the highway to be parallel. Potential option. Also might need to improve this 4-way highway junction, as it's causing some slowdown as people redirect. Need additional lanes or something on the turns. Don't think I can just take a 2-lane one-way road and no, they then get wider and there's not enough gaps, so I'd need to remake the whole thing. Perhaps I can just have a small adjustment to the speed limits, because they do slow down to get on the side roads. If I let them go full speed, it might improve the flow. Though looking at these particularly curvy internal ones, I don't think they'll actually manage to go at 100 kilometers an hour. Now we still have a big issue with the flow into the industrial area. A lot of buses and trucks causing tailbacks. Part of that is these bus stops are not being serviced quick enough, I guess. That looks like a whole gridlock there. Don't know why they're not going round. Where is that truck going next? It's turning right, okay. But he could go round. What about 4-lane road with bus lanes? Here where the buses are stopping. Complaining about something that I don't particularly see the issue, just taking a moment to... Yeah, he's taking a moment to update the traffic. The trucks are still using the bus lanes. What if I use the mod, restrict the outside lanes to be bus only? trucks using that lane should be delivering to the businesses right here. Yeah, that one is, okay. Everyone else should take... I know it's only one lane now, which isn't ideal, but there we go. Could be that I need to build a special bus stop segment that is not zoned for industrial. There's no one trying to deliver there, there's just people walking there. We could do that on these two that are next to the entrance point. It should reduce the hold-ups there. I like that as an initial idea, so I'll zone out some more blocks at the back, de-zone these two at the front. Definitely an issue with the traffic flow. So if we're to approach this, can remove that central street. Revisit the lane connections now, because that will have broken them. We go straight ahead. That one can now go there. Ahead, which means this no, that one and that one. Might be easier. Clear the whole thing, yep. Do the same with these. See if the default AI behaviour is improved. Slowing down a lot. Make that one 100. Do want to force them into the right lane earlier. So at this junction. Only the outside lane goes straight on. Actually, all the garbage trucks are taking that to get to the incinerators. That's forcing them into those lanes. Seems to be an improvement. Maybe it was just the businesses that were right there at the neck that was causing the flow issue. As I say that, we'll get another issue. No one is going to the inside lane there, even though they're allowed to. If I can... I can force the inside to take the inside. don't know if that will just cause them, yeah, to try and move over to the middle lane. That does not help. Make adjustments here so that they have to turn right. Still an issue. It just kind of moves the front of the issue to the next junction. What if I forced them all the way around so they can only get where they're going from the top? I think then I would need to remove even more of the industries, which would make more sense to run like what we've done in the residential area, have the highway running parallel and have an off-ramp, or maybe multiple off-ramps. They're complaining about garbage pile-up. Incinerators are full. And our spare landfill is full as well. I think I just need to stop emptying that one for a while. No, because then they're just going to fill that up. What I need is an extra incinerator. Should I think I should put additional bus lanes in. So this is, the buses are causing traffic issues. Multiple of them stack up. Put in the 6 lane with bus lane. Could put it all the way around, actually. Gonna have to rebuild a few of the industries. It's probably worth it. Now use the mod firstly to enforce the bus lanes. Okay, so that's done. So only buses, taxis and emergency vehicles are in those outside lanes now. Then a lane connection, so that one I'm still happy with. This one I still want them. This one. Take care of itself now, I think. No. You'll want to force them to go right. Just need that lane to be title to go, because if there's a lorry on the inside needs to know it can go to that middle one and isn't forced into the right one. Then again, maybe I want dedicated bus lane all the way. To separate the buses out. That's so I thought. The majority of what's out here isn't buses, it's trucks. Issue is their speed. I mean, the issue is that they're all coming off. If back here we force outside will only be garbage trucks. The inside will be a bus lane. What we've got quite a lot of is garbage trucks going to collect the garbage from the industrial area, but at the moment have to go all the way to this junction to come in. So what I kind of want is some way of getting from the incinerators into the industrial that's exclusive to garbage trucks. This whole junction's become a mess pretty quickly. Well, at least to prove the point, I can just put a small... Well, what have I done there? Build a small 2-lane road. Use the mod to restrict it to garbage trucks only. That's some of the traffic then taken away. It doesn't solve the problem. The next thought is just multiple exits off the highway. It's not really any different to connecting the highway to the top of the grid and then coming off the bottom of the grid. Just having the first section not have any businesses on it. It can also be achieved just by building one more row onto the grid. So let's start with that idea. An extra set of 6-lane comes down here. We can fit, we can keep the fire station inside that cell, facing that way. Might put the bus stops on the outside, we'll see about that. Kinda want to put the incinerators on the inside. Just then creating quite a lot of traffic of outbound garbage trucks heading to the residential areas. Perhaps. I need to take the highway further north. So, move the bus depot. That will all need smoothing out in the future. Ah, actually that can be, that really wants to be a one-way 6-lane, no parking as well. So why don't we put the trees on, because that this, so I want that section of the highway to connect down here. Smooth way of joining, okay. Just join for now like we have on the other side and tidy it up in a bit. Okay, so remove that, which leaves all of that inaccessible. So move plant. We'll leave it there for now. We'll move it again in a while. Incineration plants onto this road as well. Can't move the landfill site because it's not empty. Continue this outside road down. Connect it with the usual 6-lane. Highway connection because that's the wrong spot. Getting somewhere. Reconnect that power before I forget. And then, yeah, we just need a road that connects that landfill site in. Good. The highway now, once we've smoothed everything out, will flow nicely into the top of a one-direction 6-lane street, then flows out the bottom back into the highway system. They can turn off of that down whichever street's most relevant to them. I'm going to remove the dedicated bus lanes, switch these back to 4-lane, there it is. And that as well now. No, hang on. Point in keeping it flowing, we're going to need 6-lane down the middle. 2 rows of 6-lane, one that's going to take through traffic, the other that's the actual start of the industrial zone. So I kind of want to move that oil power plant and rezone that section in the middle there. Does it fit? No, not really. Should do. Be able to fit the smaller road in there. Yep, good. So I can, yeah, rezone that and that little bit behind the power plant. Incinerators are all in their little sections. I might want to turn them round because of the amount of traffic that they send out of town. Maybe turn them to face down. Something of a compromise. Okay, let's watch this flow for a little while. See if that is any improvement at all. I just want to check the mod has reset all roads. Yeah. No funny settings anywhere. Just the speed, so they're slowing from 100 to 60. Kind of want the outside to keep going 100. Not sure if that's safe or not. Yep. Let's put traffic lights in down here, which we want to get rid of. And I want to look at what a mess that's made to the bus routes. Behave a little funny, but seems fine. Yeah, seems fine. There is a lot of traffic coming through. You might be able to use that lane connection tool to improve things a little more, but this does look like an improvement. I do feel if I'm expanding this industrial zone any more, we are going to need another connection, a different one. So it could be that I don't make this quite as big as originally planned, make a separate industrial area perhaps further north, either unspecialised or with a different specialisation. We've got a section up here where we've got fertile land, so we could do a bit of agriculture. Seems like our only other option nearby at the moment. That'd be somewhere in the future. We've still got quite a lot of this grid that I'd still want to fill in. Looks like things have stabilised in the residential areas, and I can do another density upgrade. Some more residential. This side in its mirror. Commercial as well, I guess. Good. Give them some time to stabilise out as well. Let's have a look at, so power, still looking good. Water is close, but okay for now. Still got a third of that landfill to empty. Incinerators are all full. Healthcare, everyone is looking blue. Fire risk might be close to the point of needing another fire station in the industrial area. I would figure to put it on this far edge. It's okay for now, still in kind of low area. Crime rate's all fine and jails have got plenty of space. Elementary education looks kind of good. There's an area that's not covered, but the people in the area are educated. Maybe I'm right and the bus is taking them up to this one. Got far greater capacity than we need, so I mean, if the buses are doing what I want them to do in terms of taking people to the education, then I could delete the ones I've got on the edge. Not certain about it. High school. Coverage and capacity are fine. It's just a case of time. These are the most recently upgraded areas, so they're going to take some time. And we could now afford a university. We have saved up a lot of money and got a very good income, so maybe it's time to start gaining some higher education. Don't know a good spot to put them other than by destroying a bunch of houses. Which is an option. One university in the middle of each of these blocks. Maybe. Could, because the next one I was going to do commercial in, so it could be a university and some commercial. Let's try that. Expand these streets a little. So these need to be fixed lane with parking. Put a university on the back edge. Amazing, but some extra commercial space there. To expand the water grid as well. There we go. Shame I can't put anything in the middle there. The other commercial zones, I ran the little roads up the centre. If I run a little road up the centre of here, I'll only fit some tiny commercial buildings in. What about... metro's very small. So I could get a metro station next to the university, which I believe is a good idea. Let's do that. Put that road up there. I'm going to rezone this to high density as well while we're here. That one in the corner. The metro station. Necessarily going to put the whole line in yet. I mean, the only other areas to put them in would be somehow in the middle of these. Oh, next to the parks. That's pretty cool, actually. One next to that park. This park. Don't know if that's just too close. Just noticed that's not properly mirrored. Yeah, it's the same up here as well. Fixed in terms of layout. Put the last metro station in there, and then use metro tracks. So you can do a one-way. What's the advantage to doing a one-way metro track? Costs a little less. Don't think that's necessary. Will I be able to make this nice and neat and pretty? I doubt it. Do some generally curved bits. That turns very sharp however I do it. And improve that by moving that station to the other end of the short road. Do I then want to turn the university around? Yes, I kind of do want to do all these things. I'm going to move the metro station to be central. Turn the university so it's directly facing. Refill that little gap of commercial. Back to the metro line. And that's a little smoother, not the smoothest in the world, but good enough. That can be a straight line. And then this is going to be awkward because I don't have a university is 2 little squares. Oh no, the metro station is 2 little from the road. So there. Right? Yeah. That doesn't look right. It is, because the tracks don't sit below the entrance. That is correct. Close enough, at least. Now, is there any advantage to connecting, for example, the bottom right to the top left? I think so. I'm hoping that the capacity of the metro trains is enough to not have an issue like that. So we want a metro line that just runs clockwise. I mean, why don't we also have one that runs counterclockwise? Okay. Do I click on to change the colour of those? Yeah, there it is, good. Blue one and a green one. Okay. Now got a functional university with public transport connection. Is a big bonus, I'm hoping. We've got a little bit more commercial to upgrade to the higher density. This little section we put here as well can be done. A lot more sections that can be upgraded to the residential high density, so if there's a bit of demand, I'll do one. That's good. We've got some time to develop. The industry's not complaining about anything. 10% of that landfill to empty. Still a traffic issue, really. It does seem to be flowing better, but we're still getting tailbacks onto the highway. It's because these ones are stopped, because those ones are stopped, because the streets are just full. Is it just a case that I've built too tight of a grid? There's just simply too much industry in this much space? I could make the grid wider like I have for the residential ones. I've got a little gap in the middle, could do that over here. Just have to sprawl it a bit further to get the same amount of industrial income. Preferable, I think, to having these silly traffic issues. what I'd do is take them away and have 6-lane with parking spot around each. That would mean 16 by 12. Too big for my brain to do the maths on. Yeah, so they're 4 by 4, and there are 12 of them in each. So that, let's get a calculator. There's 192 little squares in each grid. So the current one, it's different around the edges, but let's say one of the central ones. They've got 8 by 8. 8 by 8, 64, 4 times 256, so that is around a quarter reduction in the number of industrial tiles we'll have in each section, which is significant, I think. Talking of significant, 11,000 population. We are now a small city. Unlocked trains, some more unique buildings, new policies. Not really looked at yet. We've unlocked train station, the cargo train station, and a hydroelectric power plant. That's interesting, given that we're built right next to a river. We may look at damming this river then to get the hydropower. Very interesting. That is pretty good timing for the end of the stream today. And I'll look at that next time I play. So I'm just going to save the game. Keep it safe. That is 1 PM, lunchtime for me. Feeling a little hungry, so it's a good time for me to finish up. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you very much. Hanging out, chilling out, watching, listening, whatever you've been up to. Or if you're catching this on a video later, much appreciated to have you here. Cities Skylines will be back next Tuesday morning. I will be live again at 10 AM on Tuesday to continue this city. Keep going on all those little projects. I'm looking forward to it.